The U.S. Space Agency NASA will try again to launch the shuttle Atlantis from its pad in Florida. NASA says the weather forecast is dramatically improved. Atlantis is scheduled to deliver 2 Russian cosmonauts to the Mir space station and bring home 2 cosmonauts and a U.S. astronaut. Liftoff is scheduled for 19:32 hours GMT, which is just over 6 hours from now, and CNN International. In just over 5 hours, the U.S. will try again to launch the space shuttle Atlantis. This latest attempt is the 3rd in 5 days. You can see live pictures of the shuttle now. Thunderstorms and heavy rain have grounded the spacecraft, but now NASA says there's a 60% chance that the weather will cooperate. Atlantis is scheduled to deliver 2 Russian cosmonauts to the Mir space station and bring home 2 cosmonauts and a U.S. astronaut. CNN International plans to cover the Atlantis launch live at 19:32 hours.
Cosmonauts and a U.S. astronaut. CNN International will broadcast the launch, if it happens, at 19:32.
Well, in larger matters, the space shuttle Atlantis is fueled and ready to go. For the first time in days, the skies above the shuttle's Florida launch pad have cleared. Today's will be NASA's 3rd attempt in 5 days to send Atlantis into orbit, and the shuttle then has its date in space with the Russian space station MIR. The mission is to bring back a U.S. astronaut from MIR and 2 Russian cosmonauts. NASA has only a 10-minute window in which to get the shuttle into orbit. Launch time scheduled for 19:32 GMT. That is about 4 hours.
In about 3 hours, the U.S. Space Agency NASA will try again to launch the shuttle Atlantis, which you can see live pictures of right now. Thunderstorms and heavy rain have grounded the spacecraft, but now NASA says there's a 60% chance that the foggy weather will clear. Atlantis is scheduled to deliver 2 Russian cosmonauts to the Mir space station and bring home 2 cosmonauts and a U.S. astronaut. You can see preparations happening right now. Well, CNN International will broadcast the actual launch, if it happens, live at 19:32 hours.
On the pad, in the final seconds of its countdown with history, Atlantis and its crew of 5 astronauts and 2 cosmonauts will be leaving in just a matter of seconds.
Mission unmatched in space shuttle history.
The goal of this mission will be to dock with Russia's MIR space station, which is orbiting 213 miles above the Earth right now. The MIR is coming up in the vicinity of the Kennedy Space Center, and the shuttle has only 10 minutes to lift off before the MIR gets too far away for an easy rendezvous. We're now at 90 seconds away from liftoff. If the launch happens shortly, the shuttle will dock with the MIR on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. After a couple of hours of testing, the hatch will open, and astronauts and cosmonauts from different spaceships will shake hands in space for the first time in 20 years. The significance of this mission is more than scientific, although its stated purpose is to study the effects of long periods of weightlessness on people. The real story here is the ability of 2 superpowers who were former Cold War enemies to cooperate on a complex, major scientific project. Everybody involved in the project says it's been difficult, with language being the major barrier for the scientists, technicians, and even the astronaut and cosmonaut flight crew members. But it appears to be working today. We're now about 30 or 40 seconds away from launch, and for the last 30 seconds, we'll listen to NASA's mission commentators, George Diller.
For auto sequence start, Atlantis onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. T-minus 20. 15, 12, 10, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We have 3 main engines up and running. 2, 1, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission that will herald a new day of international cooperation in space.
Houston now controlling.
Houston, Atlantis is in the roll.
Roger, roll, Atlantis. Atlantis is completing a roll maneuver as the vehicle turns into a heads-down position, on course for a 161 nautical mile orbit and rendezvous with Space Station Mir. Atlantis' three main engines are throttling down now at 68% of rated thrust as the vehicle passes through the area of maximum dynamic pressure, approaching 1 minute into the flight. The orbiter is downrange from the launch site 3 nautical miles, the altitude already up to 40,000 feet.
Atlantis, Houston, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up.
3 liquid-fueled engines are back at full throttle of 104%. The vehicle's altitude is approaching 70,000 feet, downrange from the launch site 10 nautical miles. Atlantis is already traveling 2,000 miles per hour as the vehicle passes through 1.5 minutes into the flight. The next event is burnout and separation of the twin solid rocket boosters at about the 2-minute 4-second mark of the flight.
The most tense part of any shuttle mission is the first 2 minutes as Atlantis speeds up to 17,000 miles an hour.
Separation is confirmed aboard the orbiter. Atlantis is downrange from the launch site 32 nautical miles. Altitude is 170,000 feet. Traveling 4,400 feet per second or about 3,000 miles per hour.
Houston, performance nominal.
We copy. Performance is nominal, Kurt.
Atlantis, Houston, 2-engine Marone.
As you saw, those 2 solid rocket boosters were jettisoned at just the right
Performance
moment.
thus far aboard Atlantis has been as expected. The orbiter can reach Marone in Spain in the event of a single engine failure. However, all 3 are still at full throttle, performing in excellent shape. The hydraulic systems aboard the orbiter are also in good shape, as well as the fuel cells providing electrical power to the vehicle. Passing through 3 minutes into the flight, Atlantis is 68 nautical miles from the launch site at an altitude of 260,000 feet, traveling 5,500 feet per second or 3,700 miles per hour.
Atlantis well on its way into orbit. It'll be there 8 minutes after launch. We're going to take you back now to what happened at 2:32 Eastern Time as the shuttle Atlantis lifted off the pad at the Kennedy Space Center.
6, 5. We have 3 main engines up and running. 2, 1, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission that will herald a new day of international cooperation in space.
Houston now controlling.
Houston, Ahoy, Atlantis, Seminole.
There you can see it lifting off into space just a couple of minutes ago at 3:32 Eastern Time. The mission will last for 10 days. The shuttle will dock with the MIR, the Russian space station, on Thursday morning at about 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll have extensive live coverage of that. And now CNN resumes regular programming. Talk Back Live with Susan Rook for our viewers in the United States. For our international viewers, back to the O.J. Simpson replay show. This is John Holloman, CNN in Atlanta.
This has been a CNN Live event.
Steering wheel would again be